Hello and welcome. My name is Erin T. Green and this is Wise Woman Television, and today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on a message from your child or children. So you'll have to apply this whichever circumstance you have. If you think it's from one child, or you're seeking information, or you're curious about one in particular, or if you're just open and available and receptive to what wants to come through from your children. I think as parents, as intuitive as we are, we will know exactly who this message is from, if not all of our children, if you have more than one. So I encourage you to stick around for this beautiful, meaningful reading that I'm so seriously heartfelt and grateful to offer you. Of course, if you find that you like this reading, I ask that you like, that you subscribe, that you share your story in the comments, become a part of this family and community. Do press the bell icon if you find that you would like to receive notifications about additional videos that are to come. I also want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life and your work and on your spiritual path. Right now, I have a profound program out right now. I said right now twice, I tend to do that. It's called Spirit Woman, and it's a year-long coaching community to nurture your true nature and your highest potential. So do check out those details if that resonates or inspires you. You can find those details below or at eritgreen.com/spiritwoman. So for now, I will place a picture up of your 3 card piles and we will get started. Okay, so card pile 1, a message from your child, a message from your children. Okay, so card pile 1. It looks like you have been in a period or season, and maybe your whole parenting journey. And I don't know if you have young children or adult children, that might come through as we go. I feel like some of you do have adult children. I also feel like some of you have maybe younger school-age children. Either way, it doesn't matter. The message is still relevant. Apply it to your circumstances, but they're asking you to what they would want for you, because this isn't really about them wanting something from you. At the soul level, the deepest level, they want something for you. They want you to be able to grow into your truest, most expansive / highest self, to what you want for yourself ultimately, what your soul wants for you. Children are innocent, they're beautiful beings, and their spiritual side especially, their souls, they want what's the highest good. What they want is what is the ideal sort of for one and for all, right? This isn't a self-serving kind of need for them. This is more for you and for the one and the whole and the all. Okay, and what they're saying is that you might have had a habit or a pattern that goes back to childhood of reacting instead of responding, of emotionally reacting. So I'm feeling like for many of you, and I can feel it right off the bat for card pile 1, I already feel a lot of grief coming up. And so I feel like this relates to you as a child, as a young child, either being scared or not finding security in your own life and feeling like you had to self-preserve or you had to respond in a certain way, or it just happened, right? We don't think. It's not a matter of thinking. Our nervous system doesn't respond initially anyway based on thinking. It's responding to that external stimuli, and it starts to develop ways of being or like patterns to cope, okay, in order to properly cope, to defend itself, whatever. And so as a young child, you might have found that it was necessary, not that it was intellectualized or thought of, but you might have found it necessary to respond in a certain way or emotionally react based on what you were experiencing in your home. So you could have been in unsafe situations, you could have felt unsafe. In some way you might have felt insecure. In some way you might have felt that you had to respond emotionally in order to get your needs met or your voice heard. You had to respond emotionally in order to be seen, like, hey, I'm over here. You had to respond or react emotionally, again, if you're not being properly attended to, or maybe being neglected or under supervised, under provided for, undernourished. You have to sort of be loud or animalistic in some families, in some cases, to be heard, to get your needs met. And so whether it was that or whether it was there was a lot of noise and chaos and dysfunction in your family, and again, it was a lot of just fight or flight and fawning for everyone responding out of these nervous system patterns that really weren't conducive for a small child or for the health or function of anyone, but certainly not for a small innocent child. But you sort of learned that this was the way to get your needs met, also that this was the way it was done. It was also like just natural for you. Some of you just were overstimulated. There was a lot of intensity, emotional intensity in your household, maybe an abuse or toxicity in some cases. And so you developed this pattern of emotionally reacting. And again, it's feeling like self-preservation. This was somehow protecting you, or it was serving you to have a need met. For a lot of you, I also feel like it was protection. Your nervous system sort of walled up, defended, in order to keep everything out and everyone out so that you could feel safe or experience some semblance of inner safety or felt sense of safety. But it was walling you up and holding you holding you off. I don't know what term I was trying to bring forward there, but now it's gone. But it was pretty much keeping you away from any kind of threat. And it was also the same catalyst, though, that when needed would support you to fight, right? So whatever that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response was for you uniquely in your house, whatever the circumstance, you carried it with you. And in some ways you're still carrying it with you. But it's not real anymore in the sense that it might be valid for its time, but it has since expired, because you are the adult. You're the empowered adult, the parent in your life, the parent of your child and your own parent, your own inner parent. So you get to decide, first of all, to heal, but also to respond in a different way. You are the one who gets to decide if your needs are met. You're the one who gets to decide if you're seen or heard, or take part in relationships if you're not seen or heard. You're the one who gets to decide to be around people that you feel like you have to protect or defend yourself against. You're the one who decides how you respond in relationships. Now, sometimes we still put those walls up and protect and defend even when it's no longer relevant. And that's what I'm saying, to have that greater awareness and that deeper awareness of self, so you're able to sort of be aware of that, but also create this enough space for you to change, for you to be able to step into more responding based on what's here in real time in the current reality. Instead of seeing the current reality as a reflection of the past, right? Because our bodies, our neurochemistry, our biology, our physiology, our nervous systems are going to be responding based on, because of our brain, it wires it that way, based on the experience of the past, where it's like any kind of threat, or even a seeming threat, a perceived threat. It might not even be a threat, that's the thing, but it kind of goes back and starts responding the same old way it always has, and it might not even be relevant for right now. So you might be putting that or projecting that onto your child. I don't know if that's the case. They're not mentioning that. That's not the message that I'm getting here. Like, again, it was very not self-serving or even focused on them. It was much more for you, for your own growth, for your own contentment, for your own peace, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment. And so it's a matter of being able to see reality for what it is right now, without your projections, without your filters that are coming from or stemming from the past when you were a young child, and in situations that you're no longer living in, but you're acting out as if you are still there. So you might need to start creating space if you feel a threat, if you feel unsafe, if you start to feel overstimulated, if you start to feel defensive, if you start to feel your heart walling up, whatever it is, that's your sign, that's your catalyst to take the space. Create distance between you and anything that's going around you, even if it's in a conversation, telling the person, I'm feeling really hurt, upset, triggered right now. You don't have to make it about them. It's not about them. But I'm feeling this certain way, and I'm working on really taking care of myself and creating space for myself to process these feelings. So I need to separate myself, but I can return later. So even if it's in a conversation, you can set those boundaries. But you're creating enough space so that you can see clearly, so that you can feel whatever it is that's there. You know, is it fear? Is it anger? Is it protest? You know, whatever, because anger and protest kind of go together in this case. And so some of you might have felt that as a kid, to want to protest. No, this is my right, and I get to do this, whatever, or you won't hurt me, or whatever. So to see what you're feeling, to get that voice heard, to get that need met, and then you can re-enter the situation once you have awareness around that. If you have to feel some feels and grieve some grief, do that. You have to let out some anger, do that. So, you know, to journal it out and rage, journal it out, do that. Whatever it is you got to do. And the feeling might not be completely gone, but at least it's integrated into your greater wholeness. You've taken the space, you've stepped away long enough to be able to see that clearly, recognize it's a reflection of the past, you know, an inner child, a wounded child, whatever it was, and then you're able to enter the situation from a place of your own wholeness, your own strength. That's a part of you, but it's not the whole truth of you, and it's certainly not the empowered parent that you are. And so you take a look at that, you see it for what it is, and then you re-enter the situation to be able to respond based on the situation here and now, and the stimulus that's here and now, that's not colored or filtered or perceived through the projections of the past. So yeah, in some ways, I feel like you've been burdened by the past, and you haven't been able to step into your full self, your full sort of creative self. And what I mean by that in this scenario is being able to create change, being able to carve a new path, to trailblaze a new way. It's like, you know, kind of going on the well-beaten path or the well-worn path of the past, or it's forging a new path. And that does require some energy and some effort, but your child feels, or your children feel, that you're burdened by the past, and you're even burdened by your own mind, by your own pressures, by your own expectations, by your own standards. And that is what kind of leaves you in this position of sort of being animalistic and responding based on the ways you did in the past. Because when you feel like a caged animal, you become a caged animal. Caged animals scratch and they hiss and they pounce and they're angry and they're a feral animal. And it's like, if you're creating a life or living out a life based on, or that leads you to kind of feeling that way, and so your child is even pointing out that maybe that is the case, that you have these burdens that might even have to do with your mind and your own conditioning. This is a very deep, multi-layered, multifaceted reading. I'm not going to be able to get to all the details. There's a lot of stuff that's coming through, and I just can't give all that time to it. I don't even have that much time on my my memory today, in terms of my phone memory. And so I'm going to be succinct here and to the point, but there's a lot of layers here. And if you find that you need more, or that there's more here for you to uncover, you can get a personal reading, and you can find those details below. But it's saying like your child feels like you even wear yourself down, but it's you creating that for you. Like, again, you're in the boxing ring, you against you. It's not you against the world, you against your kids, you against hubby, you against this and that. It's actually you against you. You got to be willing to look at your own ego and all the places where you're holding yourself back and doing things to yourself. Doesn't mean that life doesn't victimize us, because it does, or that people don't, and things don't happen. It means that you first have to take responsibility for your part in this. And the only way things are going to change is if you do your part. But then again, you struggle to do your part and make a responsible, empowered, healthy choice for yourself, and maybe even for your kids at times. It's not saying anything is wrong, right? Your child is being this is a very unattached, not self-serving message. It's very much for you, and it's saying this holds you back. They don't want you to have to hold yourself back in this way, where you create this experience for yourself where you feel like a caged animal, and so then you might respond that way at the next stimulus or catalyst that enters your environment. But you're ultimately responding from a place of fear and from the past. And that's what your child wants to help you see, because they want you to help you see your true self, which is this. You have so much more power, and it almost makes me cry. Cover my face with the card, because your child sees you as so glorious and so capable and so powerful and so beautiful, and they want you to see yourself for all that you are. They also want you to see your capability to the degree that they do. They want you to know that you have the power to change this. You have the power to step outside of these old sort of what's the word? It's not depravity. It's not anything like that, but it's like that sort of animalistic, knee-jerk response or stimulus response. It's like super quick and it just happens. They want you to know that you have the power and the capability to shift this. They know you want this to change. You want this to change for yourself, and you even want to see yourself past this, expand beyond this. And it might not be something that even happens all the time, right? But this might be something that's on your mind or relevant, and clearly your child or children want to share it with you today, that you are capable of that change. You are capable of that healing. You are capable of stepping out of that emotional reactivity and into responding from your wholeness, responding from your totality, responding not because you've ignored or neglected the emotion or the event from the past, but because you've integrated it, because you've looked at it and said, oh, I see what this is. If there's any feelings there, you allow yourself to feel it to the degree that you can. We're not going to be perfect. I know I'm a repressor, so it's hard for me just to feel what I need to feel. Sometimes I have to create space, the conditions to feel that way, or pay someone to help me to create a container to feel it, all right? So whatever you do, you got to do it, but you return to that situation with a clear perspective and a clear view, so you can make a choice from the clearest energy possible, from the cleanest energy possible, that honors you, your highest, and your children, your child's highest. That's what wants to come through here. That's what you want for yourself as a soul, and that's really what you're growing into. Learning to respond not from the sort of wounded child or inner, wounded animal or feral animal or whatever, but learning to respond from your wholeness, your totality, your true power. That's going to take some time for some of you and some healing. And like I said, this can be a very deep reading. I'm getting a lot of energy and information here. I just can't get to all the layers. It would be literally an hour reading for just card pile 1, and probably for 2 and 3 too. I mean, this is obviously a deeper reading. So if you need more, or you feel like you need more support, please reach out. It's just not something I can do in the length of time that I have, unfortunately. But the last card for you is inner voice. They want you to be able to hear that, to respond to that. that intuition, the deeper part of you, the truer voice, what you truly want, as opposed to that emotional reactivity, that emotion that's sort of embedded into the past, right? It's an old response, an old chain. Stimulus response is just happening. But if you create some space between stimulus and response, it's really what the child's saying. Create some space. The stimulus happens. You start feeling yourself responding a certain way. Create some space between stimulus and response. That way you can re-enter the scenario, re-enter the environment, re-enter the, whoever you're interacting with at a later time, even if it's just a few minutes, from a clearer place, from a more empowered place, so you can make choices that you don't regret. So you can make choices that you feel good about. So you can make choices that honor you, your highest, and your child or your children's highest. That's what wants to come through for you today. I feel like there's one other thing. Oh, it's saying even if it means that you're at the store and you're really stressed out and you're hyper vigilant and you can feel it happening and maybe you're wrangling 3 kids, I don't know, but this is just one example of many that could come through. And this is what I'm going to share. You have to apply it to your circumstance, and it means you have to leave the store immediately and return later. Drop the bags and the groceries or whatever you need to do. Go out to the car, address it, and even if you have to go home and you have to come back later and deal with the inconvenience of it, that is more important to your growth and to your discovery, your wholeness, and your healing than those groceries. That's something that'll come and go, no big deal, whatever. Take the time that you need when you need it so that you can start healing this. All right, thank you, card pile 1. I know that's deep, many facets and layers there, even much more to say. Of course, do reach out if you find you need more information on that. You can find my details below for personal readings if it calls to you or to reach me. And then, of course, I have a program out right now. I'm not feeling like it's most relevant to share about, even though I've been doing that pretty regularly. I just don't feel the call to share that here, but I have all my details for working with me below. If you find you need a reading, you can reach out. And I thank you for watching. Of course, like and subscribe, comment below, and I will see you next time. Thank you, card pile 1. Card pile 2. What your child or children wants to share with you. They want you to, what I'm getting here is a strong sense of self, but partnered with or paired with kind of seeing things with fresh eyes, with new energy, with, again, I got this a lot in card pile 1, so maybe if that landed for you, I would check that out too. It's a little premature for me to say that, but I will offer that momentarily for now, and we'll see how it goes from here. But it's like not letting the burdens of the past not letting the burdens of the past hold you back, hold you down, make you smaller than what you're supposed to be, limit you in some way. Because for some of you, I feel like in some ways it's worn you down and beaten you down to where you can't really truly be you, be all of you, be carefree, light, fun, fanciful, and kind of embody that inner child energy that you so want. So I'm feeling that for some of you, that you really just want to be light, carefree, easy, and playful, even have fun with your kid or your child or children. And you haven't been able to do that because the past has just weighed you down. You're just carrying so much, the weight of the world, and it's an immense burden and pressure for you, and you just haven't been able to sort of disarm yourself and avail yourself to more lighthearted play and enjoyment in your everyday life. Your child wants that for you. They so want you to be able to enter the world with fresh eyes, with your inner wonder child, to just experience all that life has to offer, the play, the whim, the fancy. They want you to just enjoy life for what it is, kind of drink from the nectar of life, without feeling so held down or burdened, or that you have to be so responsible or do all the things. It's like, some of you, again, have been sort of burdened and kind of become battle weary. And so you're unable to really tap into that inner child or that inner childlike play. You just become battle weary and you just don't have it in you anymore. So some of you are seeing it that way. Some of you have armed yourself. You got your armor, you got your shield, you got your sword, and you're ready for battle, for war. You're ready for what you got to do, for the task list you got to work on, for all the things you got to carry and do, and this and that, and all the tasks and responsibilities of being a parent and running a household and managing a household, and you ready. But at the same time, it's preventing you from fully connecting and embracing your child. It's preventing you from a deeper connection, the intimacy that you want with your child. And again, these messages are not self-serving for your children, nor your children or child, whoever's bringing you this message today. It has nothing to do with their human ego. I mean, to a degree it will, I feel like, because as I went to say that, I was like, nope, the energy is saying something different. But it's saying, like, it's not self-serving. This isn't about them and what they need from you. No, this is about you and your own growth and the healing and the beautiful bounty that can come for you and for them as a result of this change, as a result of you stepping into more of you. They're not asking you to be anything that you're not, or that asking you to be something that you wouldn't also benefit from. This is about you, ultimately, but they want to help you, and that's what this message is here about today. And so letting your guard down, letting your walls down, letting all the efforting down to release so you can connect, so that you can really connect with your child at a deeper level, have that beautiful intimacy, share that beautiful intimacy with them, that deeper connection. It's very difficult to have that deeper connection of intimacy and live with an open heart and connect with an open heart if you're living in fear, you're living in neuroticism, you're living in frenzy or anxiety, you're living in I gotta do this, I gotta do that, responsibilities, robot mode, the doer, I gotta do all the things, going through the motions kind of energy. And again, worse with those walls up. If I put these walls up, I can hunker down and I can do what I need to do, and I don't have to worry about all these other people who are getting in the way of the things that need to get done, okay? And it's like, well, actually, life is more about flipping that coin, right, and focusing on the people, letting the other shit go. But, that takes time to learn, and I used to be this person, and I'm still working through that. So there's no judgment here. But then the flip side of it, too, is the battle weariness and feeling it's difficult to engage in more childlike innocence and play. It's a return to innocence. This makes me cry for you guys. The first card pile made me cry. These are deep, layered, multifaceted, very detailed readings. And I told card pile 1, there's no way for me to get to everything, especially with limited memory on my phone today. I just can't. So I encourage you, if this lands for you and it's just like striking the chord, you might want to reach out for a personal reading if it inspires you, if you feel so called. Never like a plug, in this case for me, in my opening, sure, but in the readings, never like, oh, you must or you have to do this. But if it calls and if you feel like you need it, because I just can't get to everything. But there's this beautiful, they want you to return to innocence, to be able to play and enjoy life and engage with life and just love and share love and be love and experience what this life has to offer without the burden of the armor and the pretense and the responsibility and all the things that you've been taught and told you have to be or do. It's like, drop all of that. That's not real. They want you to be able to live life with childlike innocence, to return to innocence again, to live life fully, but not in this way of like bold and loud, but just like playfully, effortlessly, just living and enjoying, just for the sake of living and enjoying, and being able to connect with your loved ones and play, whatever form that takes, to be able to surrender, to return to innocence. Yeah. So a lot of maybe difficulty in the past or struggles and challenges that led you to, again, like I said, become battle weary. So we're seeing a lot of this past experiences also could do with past lives. I'll talk about what I'm getting for past life in just a second, but whether you subscribe to it or not, it can have to do with your current past, experiences in your life, or it could have to do with actual past lives. But it's saying you're battle weary, you've been through a lot, you've had to put on all this armor, do all the things in order to get to this place, to survive up until now. And it's like, so it's really hard once you've kind of been through the battle and fought the war to then take everything off, because you almost feel like you carry that with you to a certain degree. But the battle in a lot of your cases is over. And even if it's not, if you're still facing a lot of challenge, or you're feeling like you have to do all this, or maybe you're a single parent, you are doing it all yourself, it's like being able to recognize that it's really a mindset, it's a perspective. You're either entering the battle of the war, or you're just entering your life, and you're doing the dishes and you're hanging out with your kid. You know what I mean? It's a way of entering, it's an approach, it's an energy, it's a mindset. You don't have to enter life like you're entering a battle, that you have to do this, fight to the death or work really hard, or like, whatever it is that you're approaching. Again, it could just be tasks and responsibilities and all the things you feel like you have to get done. But I think for a lot of you, it's also just battle weary from life and all the things that have happened and all the upsets and disappointments and losses and failures and things like that. You've become battle weary. You just don't have the energy to even be playful. It's not even there. There's a lot of grief there to expel if that's the case. But I think for some of you too, it's just like, you don't know how to find yourself outside of mechanical responsibility and fulfilling all the roles and tasks that are required in everyday life. And so, your child's asking you for you to find that. And that's what they're here for. They actually came for you, guys. Card pile 2, because they want you to find this in yourself. And they're here to help reintroduce you to what it's like to be a child, to live in innocence again, and to be able to put down your sword and your shield and live more in the space of wonder and carefree attitude and that lightness of being, that lightness of life. Now, some of you, the past life influences I'm getting could be this life too, but if you subscribe to that, it has to do with feeling like you have to be ready for the next bad thing. The shoe is going to drop, something bad is going to happen. Something bad might even be for you, that something bad is going to happen to your children. You guys, I can't make it through this reading without constant crying. I just can't. As I said, these go so deep. I don't want to say I chose the wrong, I trust in everything, but I chose the wrong reading to do last because I'm working with limited memory here and there's so much detail, but maybe it's because people are meant to get personal help if they need it. But it's like some of you are like ready to fight the battle and save your kid. Like, you know, you've lost your kids in previous lives, maybe you lost your kids in this life, or you felt like you lost them. I try to be as real, as authentic as I can, so I try not to pause unless I have to. So I am going to try to get through this. But you feel like you lost them in some way, but you're being told you haven't. Now, some of you, though, might have. As soon as I say something, sometimes I'm contradicted, and maybe that's what this is about. You want a message from your child or children because you've lost them. And if that's the case, and you actually have lost them, hold on. I'm really trying here. Maybe you have lost them. And so if that is the case, or some of you, even if you haven't lost them, some of you I feel like will have. And some of you feel like you have lost your child even if you didn't, but it feels like a loss, or a part of themselves was lost, or something in you was lost, or whatever. And some of this is past life, some of it's present life, and it's kind of playing out. But it's like, first of all, many of you do have your child. And if that is the case, you need to re-enter the present reality, the present circumstances. The past life or past experiences are expired. Those are gone. And if you keep on living in that reality, you're just going to be living that reality, right? Nothing changes unless something changes. And so it's like your child wants you to surrender that so that you can live truly to what's here. And even if you have lost your child is saying, they want you to return to innocence, return to being able to play. They want you to be able to play like a child and enjoy life like a child and engage life like a child. They want you to live more free-spirited. They want you to live more from awe and wonder and innocence. And just of like, yeah, innocence, wonder, childlike. They want you to re-enter that. You haven't allowed that for yourself. You've been so battle weary. And again, if in cases of having lost your child, you're beyond battle weary, you know, there's nothing left. And if that's the case, your child was definitely bringing through the message to enter innocence again and to allow yourself to engage with life. And it might be a process, but to allow yourself to inch forward into a reality that is more playful, more childlike, that honors your own inner child, your own wonder child. Your child was here or is here, depending on your circumstance here, to bring you back to that innocence, to bring you back to that level of intimacy and connection and engagement with life that you otherwise have lost or been disconnected from for one reason or another. Obviously, we brought forward a few different examples here. Yeah. They want you to leave this time behind. They want you to find, look, radical self-love. It's even this like wisdom and maturity of acceptance, of having walked through, like look behind her, gray clouds. Again, she might be battle weary or whatever, but she's walking away from that. She's kind of been there, done that, and it has been difficult. And there has been a trying period over time and so on and so forth. But she is like a light, she's colored, you know, she's wearing white. She's leaving with some purity, some innocence. She's moving forward with a sense of like purity, innocence, divinity, that from this difficulty and trying time, she has been able to find some acceptance, sort of integrate some wisdom and move forward from that chapter, from that experience. She set her armor down. Look at the difference. In the beginning, she's a young woman. She's armored. She has all these things behind her, right? She has the owl. He's watching for her. He's making sure there's no threats. He's, you know, whispering in her ear. She's ready for battle. You know, she's strong. She's sovereign. She does what she needs to do, right? Not for everybody to lose someone. You know, for a lot of you, again, you're overburdened to have to play the responsible role, so on and so forth. So you're ready, you're prepped, you had to do all that stuff. But over time you drop that. Look at her. She's relying on self. First of all, she doesn't have that anxiety of the owl kind of watching and waiting and anticipating problems and whatever. She's free of all of the, you know, attire and stuff that she was wearing that was sort of built to defend and protect her and ensure her survival and all this stuff. She's all on her own, and she's wrapped up in her own-ness. Like it's her. She's strong in who she is. She's also pure. She's innocent. You know, right? She's kind of redeveloped that innocence within herself, but it's also partnered with wisdom, with seasoned experience, with the rawness of her past, or maybe even the difficult and challenges of her past, of her triumph, but she's integrated as a whole with all of it, right? And she's moved on. She's moved into a new era or chapter of greater innocence, of walking in with life, re-engaging with life from a place of not loss and disappointment and strength, and, you know, having either lost children in this life or in past lives, embracing for the next problem, embracing to protect my child and all this stuff. And it's like she's let all that go to embrace a sense of wonder, a sense of childlike innocence, and to be able to re-engage with life. I know I keep saying that, and so I'm just trying to give words to the energy, but I'll go ahead and finish this now, where card pile 2, your child or children want you to embrace your innocence, the innocence that might have been lost or was once lost, that you no longer have to live true to a past that's no longer here, that's no longer present. Those conditions have expired. They're no longer true. You can drop that mindset. You can drop your armor. You can drop the shield and the sword and let yourself be free. Free yourself. Free yourself. They want you to return to life and to be able to enjoy it. But really, it feels like free yourself. Okay, card pile 2, thank you so much for watching. If this landed and resonated for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share your story in the comments. Do press the bell icon if you would like to receive notifications for ongoing readings. And I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, card pile 3. I had an emotional couple of readings there, and I'm low on memory today, so I am finishing up here. Not quickly, but I'm going to be succinct and to the point, just like the other readings, and I think it was done purposefully. I've done several readings today, and I feel like this one was last for a reason, and it's because if you need additional support or whatever, please do reach out. I offer personal readings. There's no way to get through the kind of detail that was coming through today in these readings. So the next message, a message from your child or children. Your child is saying there's something here about a new vision, a new life, a new experience. Maybe you're authoring a new chapter for yourself. You're stepping into a new frontier, a new horizon, but more than anything, this is energy of like ripe for change, ripe for abundance, ripe for harvest, ripe for bounty, ripe for goodness and juiciness. Maybe you went through a time or a trial of just like difficulty, or like a time of trials and tribulation or whatever, and your child or children are saying like, it's time for you to reap what you've sown. It's time for you to experience all the rewards of what you have built. It's time for you to experience the harvest or the bounty that you have worked toward or built or earned or whatever. But there's a time of change here, a time of success or harvest or bounty coming through, ripening for change, ripening for new life, for new vision, for a new chapter, and your child is here for it, here for you. And please know I've made this disclaimer in each of these piles. The child or children you're looking at to give you this message, this is not a self-serving message for them. This is very egoless. It is not self-serving. They are here to support you with a message of love, to support you into your greater wholeness, to support you in your highest, which will then of course benefit theirs as well. But they're saying like, it's time for you to like live lavishly a little bit. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, enjoy the ride. Allow yourself to experience more of what life has to offer. There's so much here on this planet for us to engage with, to indulge in, to experience, to receive. And your child wants you to sort of reap the fruits of your labor. Like, that's what this is about, really. It's about reaping the fruits of your labor, of experiencing, receiving the fruits of your labor. Like, it's time for you to, like, if you need to, like, go big on your dream, kind of go big or go home. If you need to go big, if you need to see, you know, higher heights or whatever, it's like your child. Okay, so as I thought, my memory went out, so I had to make some changes, and we're back. So your child wants for you to experience all that life has to offer. It wants you to experience the rewards of your efforts and your work and your labor. And I feel like your child is saying like, there's so much here for you to enjoy and to experience and receive, and perhaps you don't allow yourself to do that. Perhaps you kind of stay close to the motherhood role or your responsibilities, or you just don't know any better, or you stay within your comfort zone. But in one way or another, you might keep to yourself, and again, stay focused on your duties, your role, those kind of hats, and you're not really enjoying or relishing your life. You're not really savoring, you're not really receiving. And your child's even saying like, you get a chance to indulge. You get to indulge in all this life has to offer. What would you like? You know, what would you like to experience? What would you like to do? And it's like your child might even have an ego that has a desire to like enjoys treats, like has a sweet tooth, or maybe you have a child that like likes to buy things at the store a lot, and perhaps you guys even clash in this in some regard, but like at the spiritual level, the soul level, your child is inviting you to experience this for yourself, to let yourself have a little treat, to not be so hard on yourself if you indulge in something, to let yourself really sort of sit back, relax, put your feet up, even let yourself be taken care of. How can you ask for help? How can you support yourself to receive? How can you create the conditions for you to receive? Like, it's okay to pay for that massage, or to go on that shopping trip, or to buy yourself a new pair of shoes or new clothes. Even treat yourself to roses or some jewelry, whatever it is that might do it for you, but is really a symbol of you nourishing yourself, a symbol of you giving yourself permission to receive, a symbol of you taking care of yourself, allowing yourself to receive, to be supported, to be nourished. Like, yes, these might be tangible things, and maybe you're a person who doesn't even enjoy all these tangible things, which is why you don't maybe do them as often, but it's like, maybe you like them more than you think you do. Maybe you just don't know because you haven't tried. Maybe you like it more than you think you do, and you just haven't tried it, so you don't know any better. But it's like, try edging those comfort parts of your comfort zone out, edging outside of your comfort zone, and like, again, buying yourself that jewelry or that massage or that spa day or whatever, buying yourself that clothing, see how you feel, see if that's something that you do enjoy, allowing yourself to indulge, allowing yourself to experience what life has to offer, allowing yourself to be supported, to receive, to take care of yourself, to be nourished, to be loved, to be held, letting other people in, letting other people hold you, letting other people gift to you and give to you. So there's a message here of you stepping into an era of sort of, again, reaping all that you've sown, receiving for yourself, receiving support for yourself. It's like a part of this new era, this new vision, this new chapter for you isn't just like you giving and kind of robotically, mechanically just doing all the things and going through the motions because you have to. No, what your child wants to see you do is really not only receive the fruit of your labor, like bear the, what is it? It's like to taste the fruit. Taste the fruit, of what you've created. Allow yourself to experience the bounty that's here. Perhaps you have a home and you don't really enjoy your home. You don't spend time in the nook that you have, in your room, or you don't take a bath in your beautiful bathtub, or you don't like sit outside in the nature that's there and available for you. You just aren't really indulging and savoring in all the beautiful abundance and harvest and all that stuff that's here for you. You're just not used to it. You're used to, again, focusing on a linear path, getting the things done, responsibility, that kind of thing. But you're kind of missing the opportunity to stop to smell the roses. That's what they want you to do. Stop and smell the roses. So enjoy the home that you've created for yourself, the home that you built, the life that you've created. Again, allow yourself to give to yourself. Maybe you weren't given a lot as a kid. Maybe it was a kid, if you were one of many children, or you were bred, as the eldest child, or even just of all the children, to sort of take care of others or whatever. You were the parentified child. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be those things. But what your child is saying is, you get to decide how this goes now. You don't have to do it the way it's always been done. And you don't have to do it the way it was done to you. Would you like to try something? Would you like to order the extra fancy food on the menu? Would you like, again, to take yourself on a trip for the weekend? It doesn't matter what it is, but your child's saying, let yourself live a little, let yourself enjoy a little, let yourself indulge, taste the fruit of your own labor. Okay, it's like you do all this stuff, and you do have fruit to bear, and you're just like, cool, on to the next thing. And your child's like, no, I want you to experience this for yourself. I want you to enjoy life. I want you to indulge yourself. Indulge yourself. Like, crazy idea, right? But indulge yourself. Yeah, and again, there's too about support, letting support in, letting people support you. If you don't have that yet, begin to build a community that allows for mutual exchange, sharing of resources, sharing of each other, supporting each other. It's like some people, it's true, they've created a life where there's not a whole lot of give and take, or there's not a community. We'll begin to build that, invest in that. That way it is an investment. That way everybody has some things to share with each other within this community. Everyone can be supported. And The final cards here too from your child or your children is about, there's a time for stillness and introspection and spiritual practice and spiritual work and spiritual communion and spiritual nourishment. But the thing is, life, when you kind of do all that stuff and you're doing it from a certain mindset, you can start to take life really seriously and pretty much only do the serious things or focus on the serious things, things you have to do, the things that need to get done. And it's like there's also an opportunity for togetherness, for celebration, for communion. There's an opportunity for party. There's an opportunity, again, for celebration, if I didn't already say that. There's a time for leaving the house. There's a time for getting together and gathering with friends. There's a time for cooking meals together and sharing holidays together. There's a time for getting all the kids together to play, to run around at sunset, or to run around the sprinklers. There's a time for stillness and for quiet, for solitude, for seriousness, and for sincerity. And there's a time for love, abundance, harvest, togetherness, celebration. There's a time of coming together. There's a time of sharing. So there's just this opportunity to live life more fully and bountifully, to experience all the harvest that you've created for yourself. Allow yourself to receive a plenty. Allow yourself to receive and nourish yourself. What are some ways you can treat, nourish, and gift to yourself? What are some ways you can give to yourself? What are some ways you can ask for others to give to you? What are some ways you can position yourself to receive? Maybe you're not the one always making the phone call or doing the thing or making the meal or giving or gifting to someone. Maybe you're positioning yourself to receive. So you're not quite going on the, into the masculine energy of pursue, strive, achieve, get it done. You're sitting back, relaxing, leaning back, allowing someone else to give to you. Maybe you're sit back, chilling and relaxing, and someone else makes the call, makes the meal, does the chores or whatever. And so it's allowing yourself to live a little bit more leisurely, to allow more recreation, to expand into more celebration, to expand into more riches and abundance, to expand into tasting the fruit that you have labored for. Taste the fruit, bite into it. How does it feel? Savor it. Allow yourself to enjoy, allow yourself to experience, allow yourself to expand, allow yourself to not feel so held back or held down by your responsibilities or your role as a parent. Not let it be so linear and so focused and so narrow to where things kind of become dry, mechanical, boring, stale, meaningless, numb, or empty. It's like, that's not what this is all for. You've built this life, you've created it, now enjoy it, live it up. So your reading, your message from your child, card pile 3, is all about living it up, all about enjoying life, indulging a little bit, indulging yourself, allowing yourself to be nourished, treated, held, supported, loved, allowing yourself to celebrate, to enjoy, to step out of your comfort zone, to step out, to live out loud, to be out there, to experiencing the world, what life has to offer, what other people have to offer. Let me see if there's anything else that wants to come up for you. Yeah, your child wants you to know this is your next chapter. This is your next chapter. So if you're not already doing this, you better be dipping your toe in the water. You can dip your toe. You can get in and up to the knee, up to the thighs and then hips. You can do it that way. You can also barrel roll in. You can also, what is the, I should know this, like the simplest of things. I don't know. But like, what is it called when the bomb or whatever, when you kind of grab your calves and you jump in? You guys are probably gonna be like, Ari, it's the simplest of things. It's this. Okay, listen, I forget the simplest of things. I can do this, okay, but I can't do that. But it's like, whether you jump in head first, dive in, or put your toe in the water, whatever, this is your next chapter. Your child wants you to know that the fruit has ripened and it's here for you to eat, but you have to make the choice to eat. You have to make a choice to taste that and savor that fruit. Your child wants you to live it up a little. And he or she or they want you to know that you deserve it. All right, card pile 3, thank you so much for listening. If you like this reading, I encourage you to like, to subscribe, to share. I also encourage you to share your story in the comments, but also press the bell icon. That way you're notified every time a video pops up. I do want to let you know I offer personal readings as well as coaching programs. Spirit Woman is enrolling now. You can find out those details below or at airtgreen.com/spiritwoman. Thank you, card pile 3.